Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's short webinar on TC314 Ageing Societies. In particular, today we're going to concentrate on Working Group 1's overview of the standard that they've been working towards in developing a standard for ageing workforces. It's my pleasure today to welcome Dr Sabrina Pit, the convener of Working Group 1, to discuss the release of the standard and the work that her team has done to develop this standard. Welcome on board, Dr. Pitt.
Thank you, Anne Livingston. Thank you for having me.
This is a really important standard, Dr. Pitt. Would you like to give us a bit of an update on the work that your group has done and the recent release of the standard?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So some of you might not be aware, but in 2018, the International Standards Organization selected as a priority topic aging workforce. So this group started in 2018 work on this important topic. There were like 17 countries involved across the globe. And after 3 years of hard work, we finalized it in 2022, and it was published early 2022. So what it does, it helps to achieve an age-inclusive workforce, and it explains how organizations and other stakeholders can develop, implement, maintain, and also support an age-inclusive workforce. So if you want to find more about this guideline, please Google ISO 25550, and then you will able to find it. That's the quickest way to find it. So if you want to know more about the Aging Workforce Guideline, Google ISO 25550. So what it contains further is requirements and recommendations to ensure that we look after our valued aging workforce. So if you use this standard, it can add value for organizations, workers, but also communities and other stakeholders such as governments. And it will give you recommendations and practical advice around how you can ensure older workers can remain productive in the long term, short term, and also internal and external to organizations.
It's a really important standard development globally, Sabrina, at a time when workforces are stretched, and for many countries the availability of workforces is challenged. Where do you think this standard will be most beneficial?
It will be beneficial for a variety of groups. So to say one is more beneficial than the other, I think there is different ways of looking at it. So for example, if you look at governments, for national governments, it can be used to compare and promote national objectives for aging societies. So in a lot of countries across the world, aging workforce is an opportunity for governments to work with. And those governments can actually use then these standards to find solutions for their own nation, but also collaborate with other nations across the globe to improve the aging workforce. So I think that's a huge benefit from that point of view. So, but also on a smaller level, on a more regional level, or local community or council level, they can also use this standard. It will be beneficial, let's say, for councils in Australia to use it to develop policies for their aging workers as well. So I think also what the benefit of this standard is, for example, for carers, for people with dementia, because there is parts in the standard that address other issues around that can be beneficial. For the organizations themselves, it provides a huge opportunity to actually capitalize on the knowledge of the older worker and find ways within the standards, because there's lots of recommendations that focus or give ideas about how you can capitalize on your aging workforce. So that will then be a benefit, especially with all the industries that are currently struggling with finding enough employees. It's really important that we obviously keep the people that we have and make sure that they do not retire earlier than necessary, providing, of course, it's quality work.
So thank you, Dr. Pitt. The release of the standard is early in its stage, but what do you feel will be the measures of success, say 5 and 10 years down the track, on workforces globally if they apply this standard?
Importantly, we've just reached an agreement within ISO that we will develop human capital metrics for aging workforce. So this will be in alignment with other human capital reporting or metrics area within ISO. So the human capital reporting for internal and external stakeholders, which is another standard within ISO 30414 it's called, is a major player in this field. And what I see will be a great achievement is to align this work, especially in this area, because we see an increase in ESG reporting, which stands for the environmental, social, and governance reporting, which has a major focus on sustainability. So there are a few different key players in this area. And some regions, such as Europe, are actually moving to mandatory reporting in this ESG reporting area. So again, I can see a huge impact that the aging workforce standard can have, and that the content should be shared and used by those organizations that are moving to this reporting stage. So that includes things such as the World Economic Forum, the IFRS, which is the International Financial Reporting Standard, and also on European level, the European Financial Reporting Advisory Group. I think one last application is that with the countries that have been involved with the development of these standards, we are recently forming a group to start promoting the standards globally together as well. So watch this space. And if you want to know more, please reach out to us.
Thank you very much for your time today, Dr. Pitt. It's been great to hear about this standards development. I believe it's very important in the scheme of global workforces for many industries. And we look forward to hearing more examples in the future of how this standard has been applied. On your screen now are some key contacts, including a contact for Dr. Pitt. Thank you again, Dr. Pitt, for your time this morning.
Thank you.